This is who I am, I guess. You know, it's how people identify with me, I guess, but it's not who I am. I'm a father of 3 and I love my children more than anything, and I do this to look after them. That's why I do it. I've had so many fights. It's just another day at the office. It's just another fight. It's just another name. And I couldn't care less whether it's George St. Pierre or it's Yoel Romero or whoever. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go, I'm going to earn some good money. I'm going to put that in the bank. You know, I'm going to secure some future for my family. And that's about it. So yeah, I do care and I will train and I'll apply myself. But honestly, I couldn't give a fuck. My name is Michael Bisping. I am UFC middleweight champion of the world. I'm fighting George St. Pierre at Madison Square Garden, November 4th. I was born in Cyprus on an army base, which is a small island in the Mediterranean. My dad was in the army. My dad was serving in Northern Ireland and met my mother. They got together, moved to a town called Clitheroe, which is where I was raised. You know, it was a loving family, 6 brothers and sisters. Turbulent household, yes, very, very much so. I followed my older brother to a jiu-jitsu club one day and loved it. At the end of the jiu-jitsu, we would put the gloves on and have a tear up. And that's what kept me going back week after week, because I just loved it. I was obsessed with martial arts as a child, absolutely obsessed. My schoolwork suffered because of it. You know, I was always a decent student, but I was obsessed with that. And then when I was 16, 17, you figure out there's more to do in life, you know. Maybe not positive things, but you know, you start hanging out with friends and doing a bit of this and doing a bit of that and going down the wrong path. And then when I met my wife and we had children, and then I kind of realized, shit, what am I doing with my life? It's going nowhere. And I did a lot of soul searching, and I decided I wanted to make something of myself. And I told my boss at the time, I said, I figured out what I want to do. He said, oh, great, great. What is it? Thinking I was going to say, I'm going to go to college and become a lawyer or this and that. I said, I'm going to be a professional fighter. And he was like, oh my God, are you serious? But of course I was serious, and here we are now. A lot of people had the reservations back then. We had 2 kids, we had a mortgage, and we were struggling to pay the bills. And here's me saying I'm going to quit work and move away to another city to chase a dream of being a professional fighter in mixed martial arts. I'm talking 2003, right, when there was no money involved in it back then. But I always had my goals set on, you know, achieving, you know, basically where I am now. And it all came true, and my wife was very, very supportive, and my dad was supportive. Some people talk shit behind my back, I know that, but I can't blame them either. Obviously, I've never taken performance-enhancing drugs, which seems to be a problem in this sport. I'm a clean fighter, I'm a working-class guy. I've always worked my ass off. I'm not here through talent as such. I don't have a lot of talent. But this here was achieved through hard work and determination and taking a lot of setbacks, losing 3 #1 contender matchups. To get to the point for a #1 contender matchup is very, very hard, and when people lose, that's it. You never hear of them ever again. I got there 3 times and I lost all 3 of them to guys that were on steroids, granted, but whatever, I still lost them. But I never said never. I kept rebuilding myself and working my way back up, and I wouldn't be denied. And here we are now, you know, and I think that's my legacy, that if you have a dream and you chase it and you work hard enough, then you can achieve it, you know, and it sounds a little bit cheesy, but there you go. I'm always the underdog, if I'm honest, you know. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. I don't bet on mixed martial arts. I mean, George was an incredible fighter. George was, I think he defended the belt 9 times.
George Rush St. Pierre!
You can make an argument for how he might win this fight. I make an argument for how he might lose this fight. The last thing I'm thinking about is like proving the odds makers wrong. That is not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about winning my fight, performing to the best of my ability, looking after my family, and of course, defending the belt. When you come back out of retirement, when you were a former champion, when you were a dominant champion like George St. Pierre, you still have clout. You know, you're still George St. Pierre, so he can call the shots, and he kind of jumps the line a little bit. George is a very good grappler, he's a good wrestler, he's got good jiu-jitsu. George has many, many solid attributes. So I've got a lot of positives to say about George. His style though, for this fight against me, he's going to look to take me down. He's not going to look to stand and trade strikes with me on the feet. He's just not going to do that. Of course, he's going to throw some strikes because the fight starts on the feet, so you have to. He has no choice. But given the exact moment he can take it down to the floor, he will. You know, so of course I'm looking to bring in wrestlers to prepare for that side of things, but ultimately I'm not changing too much. who knows, maybe this is going to be my last one. See how I feel after it. I mean, I'm 38 years old and I've got a lot of stuff going on outside of the octagon. I love doing this, but you can't do it forever. You know, I've beaten Dan Henderson, I've beaten Anderson Silva. To add George St. Pierre to that list, you know, they're three of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. So for me, yeah, I would be very proud of that.